Bitterly divided board members blasted one another for constant manipulations, leaking information to the media, deliberate and outrageous breaches of confidentiality, and other transgressions at a marathon 7-hour meeting of the mighty Metropolitan Water District of Southern California on Tuesday, June 8. Despite the tension and rancor, Met's 38-member board ultimately approved the employment contract of Adel Hagekhalil, making him the new general manager of America's most massive drinking water agency. And despite the tension and rancor, Hagekhalil accepted. "I'm a person who brings people together, diffuses the tension in the room and puts people behind the goal," he said during an extended question and answer session that some likened to an extra, last-minute job interview. "What we need to do now is come together. We have to focus on what unites us rather than what divides us. We have huge challenges ahead of us." Hagekhalil will get a $400,000 annual salary and $700 monthly car allowance, among other perks, to ensure that water keeps gushing from the taps of 19 million people from Ventura County to the Mexican border, despite the twin demons of drought and climate change. While the job itself is a challenge, Met's organizational culture poses a challenge all its own. Nearly half of the board, all representatives from the cities and special districts that buy imported water from Met, abstained from the vote altogether. But slightly more than half voted yes, eking out victory for Hagekhalil. "What I'm going to do, is do the listening," he said, vowing to meet with each board member to understand priorities and concerns. "This is who I am. This is what I do." Hagekhalil has worked for 32 years in water, environmental and infrastructure management as an executive with Los Angeles Sanitation Department and then with its Street Services Department, where he's credited with turning around a similarly troubled culture. A civil engineer and Fullerton resident, Hagekhalil replaces retiring GM Jeff Kightlinger, an attorney who has held the job since 2006. Dozens of supporters lauded Hagekhalil as a visionary leader who can move Met gracefully into the 21st century, emphasizing environmentally friendly water recycling, capture and conservation programs over enormous infrastructure projects piping in fresh water from afar. Skeptical board members insisted on asking Hagekhalil more questions before voting on his contract. Several lawsuits charging harassment, failure to prevent harassment, discrimination and retaliation have been filed against the Los Angeles departments Hagekhalil led over the past decade. None accuse him personally of any such behavior, but some paid out millions of dollars. Some board members felt he had not been candid about disclosing those lawsuits during his interview, and felt surprised when the documents began circulating.